Hi everyone. Welcome back to my next session. First, I will share my screen. I'll put in a slideshow mode. So, as of now, I hope so. We made a 5 lectures of this unit 1, part 1. So we discussed about what is the biometrics, what are the types of the biometrics, and we made a comparison like whether physiological biometrics is better or better over the behavioral biometrics. We made a comparison and we made the we came to the conclusion like physiological is better over the behavioral because physiological have 99% accuracy and behavioral has a 90% accuracy. So we came to the conclusion like physiological is better. And then this was a thing that we discussed initially. And then we discussed about the how the biometrics is categorized. It was categorized into the unimodal and multimodal. And we discussed about the comparison between the unimodal as well as the multimodal. Okay. And then we discussed about the what are the advantages of the multi-model over the uni-model. So in this lecture, we are just going to discuss about the biometric system error as well as its performance metrics. It's going to be a very short video because errors and performance metrics is a most important topic. So I'm making this as a short video. So there are two types of the error. First is a false non-match and second is a false match. So, what is a false non-match? So, two samples of the same biometric trait of the individual may not be recognized as a match. So, this leads to the false non-match error. What does it represent? So, I'm going to take a sample of the one individual and after 10 or 15 seconds, I'm going to take a sample of the same individual. After 10 or 15 seconds, I mentioned that. So I just collected a sample from the same individual. But the biometric system that I am using it, I mean the biometric application that I am going to use, it is recognizing that as a false non-match error. Because what does it exactly mean is that it coming from the different individuals. It's showing like that. So it's basically wrong, right? Because the samples that I collected, I collected from the same individual. So it is recognizing that like it is coming from the different individuals. So that is mentioned as a false non-match. What is a false match? So I'm collecting the sample from one person and I'm collecting the sample, another sample from some other person. So, but the biometric application, it is recognizing that as it is coming from the same person. That is known as a false match. So this is a false non-match and this is false match. So I'll be explaining through the what performance measures. So what is false non-match? So FNMR, false non-match rate of 5% indicates that on average 5 in 100 authentication attempts by the genuine users will not be succeeded. If I'm taking a 100 samples, okay, like that. I mean, I'm taking a samples from the 100 persons, but 95% it shows succeed. Remaining 5%, what it's showing is that I'm collecting the samples from the same individuals for the multiple times, but it is recognizing that as it is coming from the different persons. So this happens only 5%. So the accuracy rate will be 95% here. And another thing is that false match rate. It was mentioned as FMR. So what does it represent is that I'm collecting the sample from one individual and I'm collecting the sample from the some other individual. But it is recognizing as I collected the sample from the same individual. So this happens very rarely. So it was mentioned as 0.02%. So this is a difference between false non-match rate and false match rate. Again, I am repeating what is false non-match rate. False non-match rate is represented as FNMR. What does it represent is that I'm collecting two samples. I'm collecting two samples from the same individual, but the biometric system considering that as it is coming from the different individuals. So this is known as FNMR. And what is FMR? So FMR means I'm collecting the samples from the different individuals, but the system is recognizing that as it is coming from the same individual. So this is known as the false MR. If it's non-false non-match rate, its accuracy rate is 95%. And if it is FMR and its accuracy rate is 99.8. So it affects the accuracy by 0.02%. So this is the exact difference between what is false non-match rate and what is false match rate. So with this, I am just completing about what are the various types of the biometrics and physiological trait is preferred. And we discussed about what are the various fusion strategies, and we discussed about the biometric system error. In the next lecture, we'll be discussing about what is the digital image processing. In that, we'll be discussing about what is an image, what is the image acquisition, and then we'll be discussing about the basics in the image processing, and then we'll be discussing about the edge detection. So these are the topics that I'll be covering in the next session. Thank you. I'll be stop sharing it.